Hey, Becky. See if we see her soon.
Okay, there you go.
Hey,
You should be all set.
I'm
All
working on
right.
my video.
Okay, sounds good. I like seeing your face.
Not today.
Ah,
I just fresh off work.
it's all good.
Let's see. Here I am. Hmm.
We'll give you a
Okay, got to
sec.
figure it out. I'll be right back.
It's okay. It's all good. I'm just going to give people about a minute or so to get on. I know another Rebecca who planned to be on. Becky, while you're still working on it, I think
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and, okay, there we go. There comes Rebecca. This is good. Because here's the other thing. I know some people will watch it in replay because the Spruce Society has a book club and it is meeting right now. So
Okay.
this is all good. Who's meant to see it will see it. That's kind of how I feel.
All
So
right.
anyway, it's
Well,
great
you
to
know
see you
what I look
guys.
like.
Yeah, I do. I do know what you look like. So this is great because it's both Rebecca and Becky. It's like friendly faces. So it's all good. So
Okay.
welcome, whether you can show your face or doing stuff for your family and need not to. So we're glad that you're here. And other people may just pop on, but I'm going to go ahead and go just because I want to keep to the time frame. So I am Diane Cretin, and the topic tonight is enrolling new members through in-person and Zoom gatherings. So just to give you a little bit of background on me, um, I joined Young Living about 8 years ago, and truthfully, for a very long time, um, first you just join and you don't know you want to do the business. And then even though I said I wanted to do the business, I totally treated it like a hobby. And then we had the pandemic. And during the pandemic, truthfully, I just like shut down. Unless one of my team members flat out like contacted me, I didn't do anything to keep a team going. I did order my loyalty rewards monthly because, I mean, heck, I think it was more important, around that time than any other time. So I ordered, but I didn't work on building. Okay, so then we were pretty much over the pandemic. And, I think a lot of it you kind of like reevaluate. And I was like, okay, let's be real here. I know that I want to keep using Young Living and helping other people find their way to Young Living for the rest of my life. Um, for some personal reasons, for me to want to keep doing it the rest of my life, I knew that I needed to change lines of sponsorship. And I want to be really strong when I say this. I am not encouraging you to change lines of sponsorship, and that should really be kind of a last resort. If it's like you're going to quit or that's it, but I'm not going to get into why, but I personally needed to. It's also vitally important if you do that, you need to understand you are not taking your team with you. And if any of them say they want to follow you, you've got to refer them to Young Living. Resolutions at youngliving.com, because as soon as you switch, they're not your people and you can't be, trying to take other people's people. They become not your people. So that's not the main part of this. But so again, not encouraging it, but I had to do it for me. So the good part of that was when I did switch to someone I'd met through the Love for Every Home group, I don't know if it's a big secret, I switched to Carol. Um, it just renewed my whole joy in the company. Um, so for me personally, what do I do? And what's my goal as I go about like having classes and working to build the business? I mean, I think it's obvious that, when you build a business, you want to make income. But for me, it works around to that. But my focus is really on creating relationships. I like people. I also happen to be an introvert. So that really just means I like people in smaller groups. I like having, I mean, I am really happy. If there's 4 or 5 people there, that's plenty. I also don't even mind like, one-on-one. So smaller groups are better than me for just being in some like huge auditorium speaking to everyone. So blessings. I know Melissa recently spoke in Salt Lake City. So I totally like that. Also, if you're into the personalities like the Jacob Adamo, you can look at jacobadamo.com because I hadn't heard of that till I was in Young Living. I am primarily a green. That means I like to gather information and analyze it. The only thing you have to watch about that is sometimes you just want to analyze information forever and you need to be moving forward. I'm kind of giving you that as a background because I think it's important that we don't let labels, whatever your personality type is, and that stop you from moving forward in the business because we all have special things that we bring to it. The fact that I'm not an introvert or a yellow, who I call the friendly people on that personality spectrum, doesn't mean I don't like people. I sincerely do. So I find great joy in helping people learn to live a healthier lifestyle. And I mean, that's the great part that we get to do when we have a Young Living business is we get to help people and we can sincerely know that we are helping them have a better life. And it's hard to get better than that. I really have 3 reasons about doing Young Living. The joy part is a huge part of it. I really like the fellowship or community, whichever word you like to use. And so well, you just think like in the pandemic, it was easy to get isolated. So the good part about, getting back into doing things in that is we all need community in some way or another. And so truthfully, my Young Living business and my local people and my distance people, that core group has really just like blessed my soul. And then the third one would obviously be income. I don't know, we can add it later because I use the word income. We have to put the income disclosure statement. We can add that comments later. But that's the other part. I retired a year ago summer. My husband still works, so it's not like we are not destitute by any means. He makes good income. But I want to know that if anything happened to him, that I wouldn't feel like my lifestyle was going down. And building my Young Living business makes that work, and then I'm not angsty about that. Okay. So I want to encourage you guys to also really know your why. Like, why are you doing this business? Why would you be willing to share with other people? So I want to look at some excuses that could keep you from holding classes. And I don't expect you to raise your hand, but just as I say these, think and say, can you relate to any of these statements that I'm going to say? The first one is probably, well, it's me. It was me. Some of you are, probably almost all of you are considerably younger. So it might not be it, but I'm starting with one that I used to use as kind of a cop out. And then we'll go to some others. So one of them, I'm too old. Okay. If you guys don't know, Carla Green just became a Royal Crown Diamond and she has gray hair. So the I am old doesn't really hold up. Flip side of that, I'm too young. Maybe you're fairly young and you think, oh my gosh, no one wants to listen to me because I'm young. Heck, you can say, man, I don't know what I'm doing. No one wants to hear what I say. Oh man, I'm going to do it after I've done a whole lot of research and I feel comfortable. I'm too busy. I don't have any time. I will be neglecting my family if I take time for my business. I want to stop on this one. And it's possible I may choke up different times during the presentation. I'll just tell you that. Personally, I cannot think of a better role model for your kid, your spouse, your partner, your family unit, or your best friends, or whoever it is that you're associating with, than them watching you set a goal and then work your butt off to achieve it. I mean, what a great model that is for kids or other people to see that. So, and even though I'm older, guys, until just during this year, my daughter and her family lived with us. And I even had to like struggle and carve out stuff for myself because they couldn't help it, but it's kind of like they thought they owned my time. And so even with them, like I had to put boundaries up so that I could work my business. And I will say, as soon as I moved out, I started having even way more classes. So it's been good for all of us. We still are in touch. Couple others. I can't teach on multiple topics, especially those that I don't have personal experience in. Oh man, what if people think I'm stupid? What if I mess up? Oh gosh, what if no one shows up? So I want you to know that I had my first no-show a week ago Friday because I added a nighttime class. I'll get into that a little bit later. I'm still here. Life goes on. And the last one could be an excuse if for Zoom. I know I've taken part in Zooms, but I have never initiated one. And hey, I don't know how to screen share either. So, seriously, I doubt that there's anyone here who could say that they haven't had at least one of those thoughts and probably quite a few of them. And I want to say it may seem like I'm taking the long road to get to classes, but if you can't get past these thoughts, I have a hard time thinking that you're going to schedule classes. So that's why we're talking about this. So on that vein, I just want to say, I encourage you to do mindset work. Read a motivational book like Atomic Habits. I mean, the Spruce Society has a book club. They meet the second and fourth Thursday. Okay, you could do that. You can listen to podcasts. I recommend Kristen Voss. I mean, is one. There's got to be a lot of them, guys, but it's free. And sometimes we need people who are professionals to give us that little kick in the behind so that we don't live in our excuse land and keep making up reasons why we shouldn't move forward in our business. You could possibly work with a coach. I've worked with both Brandon Barber and now I'm working with Kristen Voss, and it just helps. As an aside, know that Brandon Barber is offering next week. He's doing like a 5-day training. I haven't followed the link because I'm not doing it because I'm working a lot with Kristen Boss right now, but I want to say it's something like $19. So you could look that up. He's advertising it in many venues, or if you really want to know, put something in the comments. We could put a link in later. Kristen Boss will be doing one between Christmas and New Year's. Hers is probably 3 days. They're only like an hour a day, probably like 27. So if you want to just dip your toe into coaching, those would be good ways. But you need to do mindset work so you'll actually do the work to move your business forward and not just think about doing the work. Because we all have excuses. We're all human, but we've got to quit like living in our excuses because they're not going to help us one bit. It's not going to get us towards any of the goals that we want to have. And the other part would be that coaching helps you with is quit thinking things have to be perfect in order for you to do them. As I was typing out my first draft of this talk, I got a pop-up in Facebook from Kristen Boss in the Social Selling Academy. This is what it said. Hi, this is just me reminding you that perfection is the enemy of progress. Keep going. So it was after I started working with a coach that I began doing monthly classes. I started with one class per month, but on 2 different nights, same class at my home. So for my local people, I asked my core team what nights work best for them. It was a little bit surprising, but it worked for me. They chose Monday and Friday. So I do the same class on Monday and Friday. And then I knew people were going to show up. And again, introvert, so I don't care if there's only a couple. So it would frequently be like, say, maybe 4 people. And it could be a 2 and a 2, just different kinds of things. We've had some more random people. But there's 4 I know for sure. Because again, I started over. My team is not enormous, especially locally. The interesting part is that over time, as these ladies met, because we've also done game night. So game night, we only do one. So everyone gathers for game night. When they started getting to know each other, they wanted to meet on the same night because it's that fellowship again. They enjoy each other's company so much. So for the last couple months, I've only taught the class one night. And I should say here, so I advertise it you will, if you want to say that, a couple of different ways. You put it on social media, but truthfully, I don't expect hordes to come in that way. I've had a few, but I also both text and use Facebook Messenger. It depends on the person, how well you know to know which one they respond better to. But I don't just think that like throwing it out there in the social media thing that people are just going to start, flooding to my home. So I started that way, did in person, but kept to monthly. And then I switched after a couple of months. I went and I said, okay, well, Zoom people, one of my dear lovely Zoom people is on here. And it's like, they deserve education just as much as anyone else did. So, and if any of you, you may have all done it. If any of you have not done Zoom yet, it is like really simple. So don't let that hold you back. Because here's kind of my thought. Why should we expect people to try more products that we know can have life-changing effects on their life if we don't offer them education? And people need to know that you actually care about their well-being and not just that they're in your downline and so you're going to benefit financially. And if you have classes and get to know them, they know that. They'll know that. And quite frankly, you're going to enjoy them. And it's a lot easier to help them as you know them more and know more about their life so that you can be a little more specific instead of everything just being more global. So I actually liked it and, felt a little bit better once I started doing the Zoom classes. And truthfully, by now at the beginning, I mean, I can't say the first class I ever did was like, oh, the joy, because, I was a little bit stressed starting out again. Now I love it. Like I look forward to having both my live and my Zoom classes because I can sincerely say, I really like the people. I like them. I like them a lot. And so it's like getting to hang out with your besties in a way. So it's a great joy to me. And I know as things grow and get a lot bigger, I won't know everyone as well as I know my current people. And that's okay too. The people that want to do more, I'll get to know better. And the others, it's okay. If I don't know them as well as I know the people now, but I super like it. So again, what's worked well for me, post on social media, invite them via text or Facebook Messenger. And then I also before a class, a couple days before it actually occurs, I again Facebook message or text them, depending again on which one I know they respond to better, and remind them about the class because we're all busy. And quite frankly, so this way, on a normal thing, if I don't just throw in an extra class, I know I'm not going to have no-shows. There's at least going to be a couple people and it's going to be great. The other thing I've done that helps with not having no-shows normally is at each class we do, we go ahead before we leave, we pick the next month's topic and the date. So, and I try to, I'm not always 100% successful. I try to do it at the beginning, knowing that as I might get really involved, I might forget. So normally right at the get-go, I'll say like, okay, let's go ahead, look at your calendars, let's pick the date. And then I try to have a couple ideas for people. I mean, sometimes I'll say, do you have anything you want me to teach about? Well, if they don't know the options, which they don't necessarily know what to say. So at least have a couple of things to offer them. But that's worked out great. And so normally, I know I have multiple people live and I have multiple people, at least like four on the Zooms, and we have a great time actually. Okay. As far as the kinds of things that we've talked about, we've done some of the obvious classes. I mean, some of the ones when you're starting out, you should definitely do, like the beginning, essential oil. So that'd be your kit. Thieves and getting toxic products out of your home, and Ningxia Red. Those were like some of the first ones. For me, at least in my thinking, Ningxia Red is a lot easier to share about. There aren't as many products as when you're sharing about an essential oil kit. So I tied talking about Ningxia Red into when we had a game night. So after we'd done multiple months so these weren't all in this order. Ningxia Red was a little bit later. We had multiple regular classes. And then one of the months in the summer, we did game night. At game night, people got to have, they could try Ningxia Red, Zing, and Nitro. And then they also could make Ningxia shots. So there were different oils out. There's a cute little thing I got off in one of our groups that was about, different shot recipes. So they could do Ningxia first, and then we had pizza and some sides and just play games. So my distance people, I actually mailed them Ningxia because I think it's just as important for them to know about it. So I mailed Ningxia to them, and obviously live in my home, I could offer some different games. The thing that I could figure out to do with them that they agreed would be okay is we play bingo. I bought a bingo set. I photocopy cards and I mail the cards to them, and then just remind them that when they mark them off, they have to be able to erase it. So don't use like black out the whole number because they're going to use them again. We play multiple games and they don't get pizza or food. So they get prizes. So I have Young Living products. First person that wins, I show them all the stuff, they get a pick, and we just keep going. And it can, there's oils, there's supplements, there's all the things. And heck, a lot of this stuff we get free. Let's be real. Young Living is really generous. Then I also, by the end, when we played it last, I also was like, okay, whoever wins next, you can tell me something you're dealing with, and I'll make you a roller. That kind of thing. We can look up recipes online too. Super easy. But that was fun. I mean, I enjoyed doing that. Some of the other topics we've talked about that probably is not an exclusive list, but CBD, skincare, personal care products, how to support your hormones. One I forgot about talking back through this also was after convention, like a convention recap. And one of the things I want to say there is, when I was just thinking about this today, is whether we want to admit it or not, almost everything we do is sales and marketing. We want people, to think like us, or we're telling them things. And I'm only saying that was because it hit me when I first told people, oh, we're going to do convention recap. And I realized, especially there was kind of this, especially in a couple I could really tell. Okay, if they don't go to convention and don't know anything about it, that was not like so exciting. So after mentioning it that time, by the time I'm really talking about it when we're getting to it, I didn't call it convention recap anymore. Then it was about, let's look at some new products, some great kits that came out. And that might have been, I forget, that's when we got the ShareYL code. But it was like, you tell them like some things that could really apply to them more than just saying, oh, it's a convention recap. The other one that I've taught on that was actually this month was creating your emotional wellness toolkit. Just a sec. And I will say that topic is incredibly popular and very much needed. 2 weeks ago, I first did it in my home. Of my core people, I had a person who just had surgery and one who was on vacation. So I told them when those things are over that I'd be willing to meet with them one-on-one. So we had our first meeting. And I'll tell you a little bit about more, but that went well. And I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. But then last week, this is not, I don't want you to think I'm always this busy, but it's just how it played out. And also because of this topic. Last week, I talked about that topic 4 times, 4 days in a row, 3 one-on-ones, and then my Zoom distance team, which is Friday at 12:30 Pacific. And it just mattered because everyone needed to know that. The other thing I want to say is, like, 2 of the people on my one-on-ones was like the lady who'd had surgery and a woman who'd been on vacation. The other woman, I just say it's for Team YL. I mean, just think here. There's so many like cross-line and wonderful people in this group. I mean, like, okay, Rebecca got on here. We met each other through a coaching group. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this talk. I wanted to see if some friendly faces. She's on. It's great to have cross-line friends. And so there's a woman I know who, I know her from church. She's local. She has no support at all. And she even told me, it's like, I've used Ningxia Red and I ordered Ningxia Red. I have no idea why I ordered it. It's sitting at home. So every couple of months, that kind of fits her schedule better than monthly, we get together. She comes to my house. we talked about, she tells me the schedule. You know, or, sorry, she lets me know what topic interests her because she didn't care about skincare. That's okay. But this month, I don't choke up too much here. The good part, I'll say, if you meet with someone one-on-one, they may share a lot more with you. And that woman, there were a couple things we're going to talk about. She came in and she said she just felt it was like a God thing that we talked about emotional support because of something she had, I'm going to try not get something she dealt with in a job in the past that because of some events going on had just really reared its head again. And she's like, I needed this so much. So anyway, that one, she's not on my team. I don't care. It's good to do things for Team YL. Okay. She's also a strong introvert and we get along. So it works for her because she doesn't want to be with the masses either. Okay. So the other thing is I ended up just doing a class yesterday. One of my people is a teacher and she was like, my school is so stressed. She just gone to a new school this year. And could you please come talk about emotional support there? So I'm like, sure. So first, that's because, okay, and here's the part two. I make up how I do part of these. I look at resources online. I'll look in books. I do stuff. So I'm not going to say this is the right way to do it, but because this was so popular, I want to quickly just tell you, sorry, I'm looking at time to go like, how many? I ended up talking about your emotional wellness toolkit. I used an NIH handout you could do where they looked at 6 different areas that went well, including things like a good night's sleep and reducing your stress. Well, heck, that's easy and important because we have products that do that. And, you know, we talked about frequency, but then we looked at oils that will support your emotional health. And obviously we have great products. So we just had those there and passed them around. Everybody smelled them. And then when it was live at my house, because those were not new people, we also talked about the feelings kit. A couple of people ordered it and we just started this week and we're going through that protocol. 6 oils, do the protocol. Okay. Whereas when I did the class at the school, those were new people. I don't consider those people that the feelings kit is a great choice for. So it was a little hard, but we did a combo between kind of like beginning oils combined with part of the creating an essential oils wellness toolkit. And I had handouts which helped move it along because I give the handout about the toolkit. I give the list of the oils. I even gave out some information about frequency. And I really only want to share about this class because I want you to know everything doesn't have to go perfectly because in this class, you know, I'm used to people come in and they sit and they're there the whole time. They were flowing in and out. There were 4 people, not counting the host. There were 3 at the beginning. 2 of them left partway through, got a call, left, didn't come back. One sooner than the other. And then the other, but then partway through, another woman came in. We were talking about the oils by then. She'd missed over half the class. It's okay. Super interested. And the bottom line is she's buying product and next month coming to my house for game night. And the woman that was there the whole time, the librarian, after everyone left, could tell me that she was on a more limited income. So she's coming to my house with her 5-year-old son soon so that we can help her customize more what's right for her budget. And again, these people will go under my person, Lisa, who was the hostess. Okay. So things don't have to be perfect. You know, you just go along. I'm going to skip a little because I'm realizing here we're getting close to the end. Oh, and the interesting part about that, I will say, because Lisa's new to that school, but wherever she put out her notice, she didn't even know the last person who's super interested. I think that's cool too. She put out some information, new people come. So we can think that way too. We put out info, new people will come. So 2 things well, one thing I'd say I've done differently. I've gotten better about giving samples. So I do that, like sending the Niksha samples and that. And then quickly, here are some results that I've gotten from doing classes. I've had people sign up for the first time. People have reactivated their accounts. Some former team members did follow me basically because their new upline in more than a year never reached out and tried to help them. Again, that's all refer them to Young Living. You don't want to get caught like you're trying to steal them. The big one for me was there was a big increase in people getting on loyalty rewards because they knew about more product. Otherwise, if all they know about is oils and they only use a few oils, they don't know what else to get. I have people say like, I don't need anything else. Well, if you start telling them about all the other things we offer, they do. So that was big. Most of them have increased their spending, and multiple people have become brand partners, especially 2 recently. So here is what I want to leave you with. I may choke up, I'll just tell you, and I might not. We'll see. Each of you is uniquely made. There are people out there that are only going to respond to you. They are going to see something about you. They're going to feel something about you. And it is going to take you sharing with them for them to be drawn into the Young Living family and get the benefit of all the wonderful products that we have to offer them to help them have a better life and to help us do that, get oils in every home. So please don't leave them hanging. You need to show up. And now you need to go put some classes on your schedule. Okay? Thank you. I'm glad you were here. I think I need to figure out ending. Thanks so much for being here. If you have questions, I mean, you're welcome to come off mute, or you can also type them in the comments because I can't talk and watch comments. Sorry. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Becky. All right. Thanks for being here. I'm
You
having
still
trouble.
there?
Yes, I am.
All
Oh, now I
right.
see it. I'm having trouble ending. I see it now, but go ahead. If you're still here, you can go ahead and talk, Becky.
No, it was great.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. I appreciate you being here. Rebecca, I appreciate all of you being here, but really it helped to have a few people I
Yeah.
knew. So thank you so much.
I just want to add that I'm part of the Zoom meetings that we have on Fridays because we all live in separate areas and Diane is awesome. So, and we have a lot of fun and it does work.
Thank you. Yeah, they're in
And
different.
I'm an
my kids,
introvert
they're in
too.
different states. We've
Yeah.
got Colorado, Missouri, Illinois, Florida are the main states right now of the people that do the Zoom.
Yeah, it's awesome. We have fun.
We do. We do. I like it a lot. And it's allowed us to connect. Becky and I went to high school together. I grew up in East Central Illinois. So that's been fabulous.
Yeah,
All right.
it's awesome. All right. Night, guys.
Thank
You were
you so much
awesome.
for being here, guys. Thank you so much.
Talk
All right.
later.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.